Everyone's in my DMs saying, why did I buy a DCT? Well, let's face it, I'm not a tramp. So why would I not buy the DCT? That's like buying a Ducati 959 when I could have bought the 1199S or the 1299S or the V4S. What's the point in buying a Ducati if it's not going to be one of those, just to say you've got a Ducati? The same way, what's the point in buying an Africa Twin if it's not the 1100 DCT? When I was looking at these bikes, the manual never even came into play. I never even looked at a manual, it was DCT and DCT only. Now a lot of you are going to come for me, why didn't I go for the Adventure Sport? Unfortunately, this is going to be a girl's problem. They didn't do that in red. I only wanted the red. So unfortunately, I couldn't get the Adventure Sport. Why anyone would argue with me about why I went for the DCT makes absolutely no sense at all. The DCT makes perfect sense for everyday riding. In the UK, we are all fully aware our roads are just not it. They're not the one. Another fun fact, Honda sold the Africa Twin 71% in the DCT model. So that should answer most of your questions. Everyone's talking about DCT like it's some new thing. It may be fairly new on bikes, but is it though? Because if you remember, Honda and the Goldwing is DCT. Porsche is DCT. BMW, DCT. DCT has been around for a lifetime. It's only because now it's becoming more popular in bikes and a lot of you don't understand it, it's scaring people off. And I'm not gonna lie, when you first ride this, sometimes you ride it and think, why did it just shift there? The bike knows better than you do. Trust the bike. It was meant to shift there. And then you realize why it shifted there and it all makes sense. The bike makes sense. So when you're riding this and you think, oh no, I need to have a bike that I can control, you're in control. When I'm going around a corner, there are times where you feel like, actually, I don't know, I think I need to downshift myself. There, you've got the paddle shift down. You don't have to rely just on the bike. However, this bike has drive and sport mode. In S3, this thing is a fucking animal. It holds the gears longer, it gives much stronger engine braking. There is, honestly, try to challenge me on this bike and we'll humble you real quick. The G mode alone on this bike is why Honda sold so many of the DCT models. The fact that it reduces clutch slip, makes different terrain more direct, gives sharper throttle response. This bike was designed for off-road and on-road. There is nothing that this bike cannot do. Then I had some comments, how much are you planning to do off-road? Come on, we're in the UK. Even a fucking road is like off-road now. Loose gravel, loose chip-ins, potholes. You might as well be riding off-road, even while you're on the road. This bike has a different purpose. The S1000, that's my heart bike. This Africa Twin is a life bike. There are certain purposes for the Africa Twin that unfortunately my S1K will never be able to do. So as we all know, the Africa Twin is a much slower bike than a sports bike. This is probably about 101 bhp compared to my S1K. However, the torque is strong. Can use all the power of this bike on the road. I'm not worrying about potholes, I'm not worrying about gravel, I'm not worried about bumps. This just rides over it, through it, whatever. It's just a completely different ride. Would I get rid of my S1K to buy this? No, I didn't have to do that. I have both. But this bike, I think adventure bikes in general are gonna be the way forward. And I'm probably gonna end up finding that I do end up riding this far more than the S1K because our roads are just not equipped for a sports bike. So the last few trips out we've had on this bike, I've gone on the sports bike and hubby has left the house on this. The only reason for that is when we have decided to swap over bikes, if he leaves the house on his, on the ZZR 1400, I then do not want to ride his while he's having his go on this. And when he decides 5 minutes into the journey, I'm just gonna take a detour down some gravel path, I can't join him. So this is becoming a problem. Watch this space because one of these bikes between the two of us is not working out.